Hello, that was Ragged Robin from Fruit Salad by Oliver Ledbury. This is the C2 piece of the ABRSM Grade 4 Flute Exam pieces from 2022. Taking a look at the start of the piece, we are in 2/2 time. We have no sharps or flats in the key signature that tells us we are based in C major. Now in the middle we do get a key change with a B flat, and we also do see some C sharps popping ups as well, so we are based in D minor in that section. Now the D minor is not part of the grade 4 syllabus, it's actually part of the grade 5 syllabus, so if you're interested you can have a look there, but the C major is part of the grade 4 syllabus going up to 2 octaves. There are quite a few accidentals in this piece, but they are very temperamental and not related to any key change. But it might also be a good idea to familiarize yourself with the chromatic scales, which for grade 4 you start on a D note and then you go on for 2 octaves. The instruction of play here is bouncy and cheerful, which is reflected with the staccatos, quaver rests and lifts at the end of slurs. The suggested speed here is minimum at 56 beats per minute. With the amount of quavers and semiquavers in this piece, you might find it beneficial to actually count in crotchets. As 2 minimums equals to 4 crotchets, we can double the counting speed to 112 to count in crotchets. This piece is in an ABACA form, but the B section and the second A section is fairly short, so you can perhaps call this an ABCA form, where the B section uses an idea from the A section. You have the first A section, which introduces us to the jumpy melody in bar 1 to 8. Then you have your B section, a couple of expressive, long sweeping phrases starting off with a couple of dotted crotchet rhythms. This leads us on to the A2 section, where we actually play the second phrase of the A section with a slightly different end in bar 13 to 16. After that, you have the C section with more sweeping melodies and a key change. Compared to the B section, we are lower here and move through both the key range as well as pitch a bit more, with more time notes between beat 2 and 3. Also in general, we are playing more downward phrases. And finally onto the A section again, exactly the same until we get to the final 2 bars. We start off the piece with an upbeat in MP, which crescendos into a forte over 4 semiquavers. When we get to the G note on the forte, we are lifting off a little bit of the slur. In bar 1, we are introduced to the bouncy main theme. Take special care that on the 2nd and 4th quaver of the bar, we have a quaver rest. As the direction of play suggested, bouncy and cheerful, we need to play staccatos quite bouncy. The phrase ends with more bouncy notes in bar 2, but this time we end with a quaver tied to a crotchet on an accent. So putting all of that together in bar 1 and bar 2. Bar 3 and the upbeat before that had a similar rhythm to bar 1, just that we are going up and then coming back down as well as staying in forte. You can follow the shape of the phrases here and do a little crescendo and decrescendo. Then coming down a little bit on bar 4, we slur the whole bar, looking out that the first note is an accented crotchet, so it's longer than the rest. We also jump off the last note of the slur as well, and then we're playing the bouncy theme a third higher compared to before. After that we have the bouncy rhythm again, but this time the later rests are quavers as well as having more of a structured downward trend. First we go downwards in 3rd and then a G minor triad and then a step from a D to a C. From bar 7. Onto the B section where we see express next to the MF, meaning expressive, very fitting for the long melodic lines in this section. We can add dynamics which follow the shape of the music to help with the expressiveness. We ease slowly into the long phrase at bar 11 with the phrases getting longer and longer in bar 9 and bar 10. The shorter phrases here do include dotted crotchet rhythms in here, so make sure that they are counted properly. The notes itself are quite simple, just need to watch out for your phrasing. We then have a long phrase in bar 11 with a tied quaver in the middle. This phrase also steps up onto the high E and high D note, so watch that your breathing and fingering fits the register you are playing. It then comes back down and there's also an F sharp throw in the mix, so take care of that note as well. A rundown of a C scale from the B note to the C brings us back to the jumpy main theme. There's also a crescendo which brings us to the forte that will be in for the last section. Look out that for the last C note we are again jumping off. So putting the whole of the B section together. Back onto the main theme again in bar 13 to 16. Bar 13 is similar to bar 1 except for the first 2 notes. From bar 14 to 16 we are similar to bar 6 to 8, just that after the rest in bar 15 all the notes are different. There's a little chromatic in there with the A, B flat and B natural in bar 15, which also have accents on them as well as staccato. So we need to emphasize those notes a bit more compared to the others. Then we have another long sweeping melody section, this time starting off with a staccato crotchet upbeat, and the first couple of phrases are in D minor with the B flat and the C sharp. There's quite a lot of tied quavers in this section as well as staccatos at the end of the phrases, so do look out for those ones. From bar 17 to bar 20. From the phrase in bar 22, look out for the many accidentals as well as the syncopated rhythm in bar 24 with quaver, crotchet, quaver, rotchet pairs. It even has the tenuo on top of the crotchets to tell us to play the full value of those notes. At the end of the bar, we also have 2 semiquavers, so the rhythm for the bar is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. There's also a crescendo onto an MF towards the end of the bar of bar 24 to think about as well. So from bar 21. And finally, we have a quaver upbeat leading us down a slowing staccato path with the writ, as well as crescendoing to a forte taking us back to the bouncy main theme. Now there is another little chromatic snippet from the C note onto the G note in the next section. Back to a forte and the original speed here on the final A section. There is a little bit of a mix and match here between the 2 A sections from before. We have bar 26 to 31 exactly the same as bar 1 to 6 and ends with bar 32 and 33 exactly the same as bar 14 and 15. So from bar 25. And that's the end of the piece. Well, that was a tutorial of the C2 piece Ragged Robin by Oliver Ledbury. This is a lively and bouncy piece with lots of staccatos, but also quite a few long sweeping phrases for contrast. Accidentals and syncopations are other things to look out for, especially with the chromatic snippets. Other than that, the notes and dynamics are fairly simple. The semiquavers could be a bit fast, but once you get used to playing them slowly, then you can build up your speed to what you need. All in all, this is quite a fun piece to play. Hopefully that was useful to you. I'll put up the last grade 4 piece soon. Check out the other C piece that I've already done and the other A and B pieces in the playlist. Give a like and subscribe if you like what I did here. Put a comment down below if you want me to go over anything specific or if you just want to share your own tips and tricks to your fellow viewers. I'll see you in the next video on Master of None. Bye!